Each of us has our own unique background and story of how we became a part of Chiefs Kingdom.
Our reach is far and wide with fans all over the world cheering on our Kansas City Chiefs.
Everyone donning the red and gold has figuratively signed that mutual agreement and come together for one common purpose.
For 76,000 of us at a time to descend upon Arrowhead, man our stations, let out our loudest battle cry to the tune of 142.2 decibels, and make that stadium rock until our opponents beg for mercy.
We are unrelenting in our pride for this city, these players, and this team. This is the show for the Allies, Arrowhead Allies.
For 14 long days, you waited. You checked your phone, you checked your email, you checked TikTok, and now ask and ye shall receive. The Allies are back, and we have your back today as the Chiefs have wrapped up the 1 seed. It is great to have all my fellow Allies here with me. Guys, I've missed you. We're ready to get into the NFL playoffs here, and we've got quite a show here. You never know what's going to happen on this show, so come on in, buckle up, and let's do this thing.
Yeah, I miss you guys, man. I'm ready to rock and roll. Let's talk some Chiefs and the number 1 seed in playoffs. Let's go. It's playoff time, fellas. Let's go.
You know it, man. It feels a hell of
Yes,
a lot
sir.
better than it did going into Sunday, man. This feels great. What do you think, Mikhail?
Man, I'm just really excited, man. I know the Chiefs, we're ready for them to take care of business. We're going to talk about everything that they need to do and what they accomplished with this season. I'm excited. I'm happy my guys are excited. Noah, what's up, man?
Oh, man, we are just ready to rock and roll here with Wild Card Weekend, and we've got it right here. Super Wild Card Weekend. You see the Fonz is jacked up, and we've got some NFC games to talk about. I guess Brian wants to. He demands it, so here we go.
Yeah.
Seattle makes it in as the Lions beat the Packers, and Aaron Rodgers is out, and so we've got the Seahawks and 49ers kicking things off on Saturday. And then a matchup I think all of us in Arrowhead land, all the Allies will be having a close eye on, is that Chargers-Jags matchup, because if things hold pat with the Bills and the Bengals taking down the Dolphins and the Ravens, our matchup will be the winner of that Jags and Chargers game. Clint, you've been scared of the Chargers. Are you still?
I am. They have a danger factor that is kind of at a different level from the other wild card teams here. You don't really trust the Dolphins. Right now, I think that with the Chargers, it's a divisional game. The Chiefs haven't played Shane, a divisional opponent in the playoffs, since January 1998. I was sick from school the next day, and I've never really lived past that loss to the Denver Broncos. So you don't really like to play divisional matchups in the playoffs in the first round, but now they're everywhere. They're all over the NFC, and you've got one in the AFC East as well. So the Chargers do have a danger factor for me that maybe doesn't exist with the rest of the wildcard teams like the Ravens or the Dolphins. But, man, the Chargers come in here, and that's a big if. There's a lot that's got to happen. We'll have to buckle up because these have been 2 3-point games. The Chiefs probably lucky to win both of those. So we'll see, though. I'm playing a wait-and-see mode. Nothing's guaranteed here. We just got to see how this plays out.
Let's welcome any team. I was a nervous wreck going into Saturday's game between the Raiders because what we've seen Stidham do against the number 1 defense in the National Football League and the San Francisco 49ers. I honestly thought, we're going to be tested. But then when you saw how the game prevailed, you saw how bad the Chiefs wanted it. And I think if it is the Chargers, we'll be nervous, but I believe this team wants it and they will be ready. Yeah, this is the Chiefs' game to win. I don't care if it's against the Chargers, Jaguars, Ravens, or the Dolphins.
Go ahead, Miguel. And I just can't overlook Jacksonville, man. They've been a team that's been hot. They got Trevor Lawrence. That guy's back there, and he's kind of caught fire, and he's finished the season as maybe like a top 7 quarterback. They have speed over there. They have a good running game, and their pass rush has picked it up. So I think that people are overlooking Jacksonville, and that's exactly how they want it. They're like, we beat the Chargers in LA. Now they come to Duval County, and we're going to be ready to go. The wild card, Lamar Jackson, is still there for Cincy, who barely beat the Ravens there. But, yeah, I think that Jacksonville is like, hey, we're ready to go. We have a home game. Do not overlook us. But beating the team 3 times is always tough in one season. So that's why, it could be a fear factor for the Chargers. But I don't even think they're going to make it there.
Yeah, and I mean, Michael, you mentioned Lamar Jackson there. Brian, I'm going to kick it to you. I know you had something to say there, but as our resident Ravens, quasi-Ravens fan, a team that you like, that you keep an eye on, is Lamar Jackson going to play? What are your thoughts?
It ain't looking like it.
No.
First off, I'm 100% Chiefs Kingdom through and through. Nothing else bleeds in me but Chiefs blood. Let's get that straight. However, I do like the Ravens though. Great uniforms. You got the great Raven on the helmet. I love the Ravens in that aspect. But be that as it may though, Lamar Jackson, man, I think he's trying to prove a point. And I think that's more important than winning games right now. He's from some of the same environments that I'm from. And when you're at this position, like he's at the pinnacle right now, we got to understand where he's coming from. All right. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I'm just going into the mindset of if I'm Lamar Jackson and why he's doing what he's doing. And I'm this close to getting the biggest bag of my life, making my dream come true, taking care of my mother, taking care of my future kids, my grandkids, and whoever else needs to be taken care of. And I've been on better teams than what I'm on right now. I think the Ravens are a good playoff team. They're solid. I don't think they'll make any noise though. I don't. And Lamar Jackson, former MVP, you give Deshaun Watson this $230 million contract that's guaranteed. He's going to see every cent of that. And so if I'm Lamar Jackson, I have every single right to play it safe, so to speak, and not go out there and possibly get injured. Let's say Lamar Jackson goes out and he doesn't even have a serious injury. What if it's an injury he recovers from in a month or so, like a broken ankle or something? That diminishes his value in the offseason. It does. The Ravens will make him. They will pressure him to take less, as he knows that he thinks that he can go out and carry a team to a Super Bowl.
Think he could be moving on from the Ravens?
I think he's going to Miami. I could be wrong. I could be dead wrong here, but I don't know, Atlanta.
Man. Badly.
I think we might have seen him play his last game as a Raven. I really do. And who's to say that he's not legitimately hurt right now too? Still, I don't know.
If anything comes out that Lamar was a healthy, inactive, made it inactive for this Saturday or Saturday's game. Well, either day. If it comes out that Lamar Jackson purposely set himself out to because he didn't want to hurt what he would have gotten free agency, that's going to hurt him financially more than ever. So he better make sure that he's really hurt, because if it comes out that he made the decision on his own to sit, that's going to hurt him more than proving his worth this weekend against the Cincinnati Bengals.
But Lamar,
make sure it doesn't come out.
Yeah, Lamar is a competitive guy. I'm pretty sure if he was ready to go, that he will be playing. So with him sitting out, I do believe that he's kind of thinking about the future, but he's just not ready to go. And he knows the way that he plays the game, that he has to be at 100%, especially against a divisional foe like the Cincinnati Bengals. But man, I'm just excited for this entire Super Wild Card weekend. Do we see any upsets? I made some predictions on one of
the Giants definitely.
Giants
won't be watching that. I'll be washing my hair during that game. Darn.
Oh, sure. You'll be watching. You'll be watching Super Wild Card weekend like everybody else.
Brian, I'm gonna be out returning videotapes during that. Sorry.
Blockbuster.
Most definitely Giants. I see the Giants definitely winning. I don't know if the Bucks over Cowboys is an upset, but I don't see the Cowboys going to Tampa Bay and doing nothing. I think
the Cowboys are a 3-point favorite or so.
Yeah, their favorite. Yeah, I got Bucks and Giants. I think those are my two upsets.
Wow.
Are the Chargers favorite or Jaguars?
That's a good question. I haven't seen that line.
It's like 50-50 almost.
It's got to be close to a pick 'em, or maybe 1 or 2, 1.5 to the home team.
Okay, well either way, it's not an upset then. So that's probably my favorite game though. Is is Chargers Jaguars. One, y'all know I'm a big uniform guy, and those are two of the greatest uniforms in the league, baby. I can't wait to see what they bring out. And then you get Herbert and Trevor Lawrence, and as you all just discussed a few minutes ago, two possible teams that can be coming in the Arrowhead next week.
Yeah, I'm glad we get that out of the way Saturday, as that is the most logical. That's the most likely scenario for the Chiefs, either the winner of the Chargers-Jags game, and we get that out of the way Saturday so we can kind of figure this out. Unless we get some help from the Dolphins and Ravens and they can knock off either the Bills or Bengals. I don't see that happening, but who knows? And we've also got Mahomes setting records here. He was the passing yards leader, 5,250 passing yards this season, edging out Tom Brady. And this is how the West was won on the other side of this graphic. Everyone's saying this is going to be the toughest division in football, maybe in football history, and the Chiefs sweep it. Sweep the Chargers, the Raiders, the Broncos, everything that they could throw at us. The toughest division in history, and the Chiefs sweep it. Michael, how sweet it is.
How sweet it is. It just makes you laugh. And I've been like Bart Scott and all these different pundits out there who were saying some people actually thought the Chiefs were going to be in last place, which is crazy when you have Andy Reid, you have Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, all a part of the same team. They just proved to everybody that great coaching and having a great quarterback, you can do anything. And I think people just underestimated the talent that this roster had. We said it coming in. The pass rush needed to be improved. It was much improved. Number 2 when it comes to sacks. Our linebackers play some really good football. You got Nick Bolton breaking the record for the most tackles for the team. And then on the offensive side, we actually got a running game. We finished the season with Pacheco with the most yards, I think, in the past 5 years for a running back rushing. The Chiefs are who we thought they were, which is still the best team in the AFC, or at least one of the best teams in the AFC. And everybody else got it wrong. They didn't know what they were talking about.
And Shaggy, this is the important part of this aspect as well. You talked about being nervous going into the Raiders game. As you see the stats there, Patrick Mahomes breaking the total yards mark, 5,608 going into that. And Patrick Mahomes breaks the record. Of course, one extra game. Brian knows that I don't like to count games after that. But Shane, a clean game. We talked about it 2 weeks ago, last time we did a show. Turnovers, special teams. There was no missed extra points. There was not a missed field goal. There was not a punt fielded inside the 5. There was not a punt muffed. There was a perfect game, if that's possible, played on special teams, and there was no turnovers. And to me, a 31-13 win over the Raiders is exactly what you expect, and how much better the Chiefs are than these other teams when that takes place. And that's encouraging, is it not?
Definitely, because the pressure was on Dave Toub. How many times have we sat here all season long and said, what's wrong with the special teams? Why is Dustin Colquitt coming out of retirement on social media and on 18WHB to call out Tommy Townsend? Well, we saw Tommy Townsend feel the pressure of that and drop a snap on an extra point the week prior to the Raiders. But specifically to that Raiders game, they got it cleaned up. Mm-hmm. There was no mistakes made. They came out and they took care of it. They even worked out a different kicker, Matthew Wright. They signed him. He was out kicking in Vegas, but making sure that Butker was okay to play because he was questionable with the back coming into the game. They looked at it and they came out and they played great. The whole team knew what was at stake. Clint, while you and I were a nervous wreck Saturday with Rich Baldinger on Arrowhead Kickoff.
We were.
Rich Baldinger, the Chiefs icon, the legend, said he predicted a Chiefs 28-10 win. And man, if that pretty much didn't come out, that's what it was. Mm-hmm. So, you knew what was at stake with this team, not with only Dave Toub and the special teams, but the entire squad from Harrison Butker to Patrick Mahomes to Chris Jones. We saw Chris Jones play like he wants to get paid next March, play like he is a force, play like he was owning the opposing Raiders offensive guard. He was doing so good, they put him on defensive end, and he was still wrecking havoc. So, yes, the entire squad played great. It was nice to see that. It gave us a good taste of being the number 1 seed. We felt worthy of being the number 1 seed after we got to see what took place in Las Vegas on Saturday.
Yes, I remember before the pregame, just going into that thing, just saying what they did. Go in, button up, cross your T's, dot your I's. Chiefs did a real good job of executing, man. It was vanilla, defensively and offensively, but it was well executed, though. But, man, still, run the ball more.
165 yards against the Raiders, 165.
Look, our offensive line it's not tailored for passing. It's tailored for running. If we're being honest here, seriously, Orlando Brown Jr. I think the only one that's a true great pass blocker on the team might be Tooney. But even him, like any offensive lineman, if you ask any O lineman, they like to run block. They like to maul guys, punch them in the mouth. Trey Smith is getting real good at this, by the way. Yep. That's the strength of Andrew Wiley, too. Run the ball, man. Isaiah Pacheco had I want to say 4 carries at halftime or something silly like that. The man was averaging 5 yards per carry, man. Look, the more well-balanced the Chiefs are, the better off they are. And they dominated that game.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to 2 guys that I think are very important in this playoff run, that if they play well, that the Chiefs will be okay. It's going to be Juan Thornhill and Justin Reed. Like, those guys played a great game. Justin Reed with a great pass breakup on Darren Waller. He got a sack. Thornhill got the interception. He made some plays in the backfield. That is what we expected to see from them, during the season. Brian Cook made some plays. That if we can get those guys to bring that over into the playoffs where they're making plays, that makes the Chiefs defense that much better. And it's going to make the Chiefs a real, real tough out come playoff time.
And Noah, we've talked about Chris Jones and the importance of him. Let me just say, the way Chris Jones is playing right now, the guy looks like he would rather punish a man than love a woman.
Yes, sir. I agree. Hey, look, man, what has Micah Parsons done in the past month and a half to sew up the defensive player of the year award?
It's Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa is going to get it.
I think it is going to be Nick Bosa.
Yeah. Nick Bosa, the number 1 defense.
But Chris Jones, he is. Chris Jones ain't in that conversation.
He should be top 3. Like, there's no question he should be.
I think probably top 2. I think Mike has fallen off that much that Chris Jones is number 2. But
yeah,
I agree. But there's been so many games. There's been at least 3 games this season where Chris Jones he had to put it on his back and make a play. The Patrick Mahomes of the defense, to where he would disrupt the pocket and Herbert moves to his left and then throws an interception to Nick Bolton. That's what happened at the game in Los Angeles this year. The Colts game, when he was talking dirty to Matt Ryan, that the referee heard, extended the drive, blase. You saw how the rest went. But Chris Jones has been so dominant this year, and Shane hit on it earlier. No matter where you put him, D tackle, D end, put him in coverage, do what you want to do with him, okay? But that man has been making plays, and no, put him wherever. Just don't put him. Look, last year I didn't like him playing defensive end consistently.
Right.
I liked it for
You said put him in coverage. That's the only part I was coming down with.
I mean, look, Colin Saunders almost got him a nice tutty on.
I wanted it.
Action fake, so
wanted it.
But Chris Jones, man, he enough can't be said about how dominant he's been this season. And yes, it was a contract year for him. And I can't imagine this defense without him. We would be, I don't even want to think about it, but they better pay Chris Jones. Got to.
Brian, real quick, I want you to come back with this. I want your response to this. Brian, just think how bad Chris Jones wants to get a playoff sack.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he doesn't have one.
He doesn't have one in his entire career.
Oh,
so just think about how driven he's going to be for this.
Wow. Yeah, I can't wait. I don't see any interior offensive lineman that can handle that man one-on-one.
Well, guys,
I think that's where he's at right now.
We are going to continue talking about this Chiefs-Raiders matchup with our resident Raider and our good friend George Atkinson, who is kind enough to come back to see us after another Chiefs win over the Raiders. George, how are you? Are you preparing for the offseason? Are you going home to Savannah to just chill out and decompress?
You got it. I'm leaving in the morning at about 7 o'clock to Savannah. Beautiful green Savannah.
Which means you won't be there should the AFC Championship game take place there and the Chiefs go play in Vegas. That could be happening, man.
No, I won't be here.
Aw.
You get to see your Georgia Bulldogs representing the state win the national championship.
In grand style, I must say.
65-7, I'd say so.
Unbelievable.
George, as this heads in, I mean, we had this last game, you know, you saw Jarrett Stidham playing again. The Chiefs were able to pick him off. They were able to do some things that the Niners, for whatever reason, could not do. What as you head to the offseason here, a lot of uncertainty. What are the Raiders going to do at quarterback? What's the coaching situation? I mean, is Josh McDaniels safe? Like, just set the scene for us. What's going on in Las Vegas right now?
Well, according to the owner, he's safe. You know, according to Mark Davis, he will grant him another year. The quarterback situation is definitely up in the air. It'll be interesting to see what happens during the off season to see if we pick up somebody who can play. I don't think we need a Band-Aid over here. I think we need a guy that can grow into the system and be productive. And who will that guy be? I got no idea.
So you're not a Tom Brady guy? You don't want to see Tom Brady come over there?
You know, how old is Brady? 50?
I think 58.
70.
I mean, you know, he's had a heck of a run. I think we need a young quarterback who can do the things that your guy can do. Move around, throw passes from any angle. You know,
not many of those out there.
Know who his receivers are and know where to go with the ball. And I think we need a young quarterback. I'm not in that mode of, say, getting a veteran guy in here like Brady. You're talking about 1 year and you're right back where you are.
Yeah, and do you feel like Derek Carr was a little bit of a scapegoat in this situation? Just do you think it's time for them to separate and go their own ways?
That was unfortunate, I think, what happened to Derek. I like Derek Carr. I thought he was productive and most, you know, during his career with the Raiders. He needed some help in the offensive line a little bit and on defense to get the ball back for him. Derek did what he was supposed to do while he was here. And I guess we'll move on to somebody else to see what we can get done. But it's got to be a productive quarterback. I mean, I don't know if I would go with the age for 1 year or 2 years, maybe. You want a guy that has a future, like your guy.
Maybe
you know, what, George, we didn't have a show last week because we took last week's show off for Arrowhead Allies out of respect to the situation that happened to a young man, Damar Hamlin of the Buffalo Bills. And since we didn't get to have you on last week, we didn't have a chance to wish you happy birthday. Happy belated
76.
Yes,
Happy
birthday.
Don't say that so loud.
The same age as Tom Brady. It's perfect.
And George, you came from a generation, you know, the very first Super Bowl I ever watched in my life, I'm 53, was the Oakland Raiders against the Minnesota Vikings. And I saw Jack Tatum lay out the Minnesota Vikings wide receiver. It was a clutch hit. It was a big hit. It's something that we oohed and awed and said, man, that was a great hit. When you see things like this happen in football with Damar Hamlin, in your time of playing in the NFL, have you ever seen a game stop for having to give CPR to a player?
No. Very first time. And I've been around this league for 50 plus years. And that was the first time I saw that happen. And it's unfortunate, but you know, it's football. It's not a contact sport. It's a collision sport. And when you have a collision sport, a number of things can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that you're on the Raiders defense and let's see, the 75 Chiefs, they line up and they do a ring around the Rosie. And
not with us.
and that's
that's
exactly where I'm going. If you're on that Raiders defense, what is the talk now? What are you guys thinking after that or during that?
You mean if it was done during the era I played in?
Yeah. Let's say that you put yourself in
circle. It'll still be going around the circle.
So, all right, do you think it's Bush League or do you think that,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. And to them, they were having fun. I understand that, but it was a little bush, especially a team like with the status of the Chiefs. I mean, it's the elite team in the NFL. They don't have to prove nothing to anybody. They don't have to do that kind of stuff to get attention. They get attention by putting points on the board and winning games. And I think that takes away from their abilities to be one of the great teams of all time.
Okay, let me say this.
I mean,
go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. No,
Go
take
ahead.
it.
Go ahead.
I was going to continue on.
I was just gonna say, look, man, the Raiders came to Arrowhead 3 years
go.
ago.
That's what I was going to say.
They rode the damn bus around Arrowhead. And last year
that was so misinterpreted. We misinterpreted to get on the correct freeway, so we had to go around the stadium.
You guys were lost. That's what it is.
All right, fine. What about last year? You huddled up on our logo, trying to style on us. We put a 40 burger in your back. And we took care of that on the field. We can't do a little ring around the rosy. Y'all can come and stump on the logo.
No. No.
I mean,
what's
there
your
it is.
point? What's your point?
But you gotta have some fun. You remember in the Super Bowl.
Fun is one thing, but when you disrespect your opponent, listen, it's your opponent that's who gives you the opportunity to be great. You know what I'm saying? Your opponents. How well you
disrespect
play.
came with the flag on the play. That was the disrespect. There was a holding penalty, phantom.
Yeah, that was.
But I mean, listen, if teams start disrespecting their opponents, you're gonna have chaos. It's just that simple. And
Denver's pretty pissed about it.
You don't have to. I go back to the years I played. We had one of the greatest teams ever. We didn't do no Bush League stuff like that. Come on. You go out. The statement you make is beat. Can I say it? Beat that ass. BTA.
Say it.
Yes, sir.
George, with that said, we're bringing on our next guest, which is Lynn Swan, Hall of Famer. He has some comments about that.
See you later.
Yeah. Y'all, it's coming from the team that you stick them. Yeah.
George, you won't find this anywhere else. This is amazing. George willingly just puts his head down, comes in here. He's not scared of us, nor should he be, by the way. He's been in much bigger battles in his professional career. And George, we just wish you a happy off season. I mean, the Raiders are going to have to get some stuff together. The Denver Broncos are in the process of hiring a new coach. The Chiefs and Chargers in the playoffs. So, to get into that next level, to get up there back into playoff contention, that's got to be the main focus here for the Raiders coming up.
Without a doubt. And you have to have players to do that. You look at the Chiefs. I like their approach to things. You got rid of Tyreek Hill and you bring in two other guys that can do the same thing almost. That's how you build strength in a team. You can replace your top players with players who can come in and do the same thing. That's good. That's a good approach.
But George, what's the temperature when it comes to Josh McDaniels? Everybody is saying, including myself, that he's a really good coordinator, but he's not a head coach. Like, do people in Vegas or in the Raiders organization, do they believe that he can put them over the top? Is he going to go out and get a Jimmy Garoppolo or Tom Brady to fit his system, or can he really bring anybody in there and bring the best out of them after,
it remains to be seen who's coming in, and whoever comes in, I'm quite sure there'll be a lot of discussion about that particular person as the quarterback or the leader of the team. I'm sure it will go from top to bottom as far as choosing a quarterback, and that's for the brass to do, and I'm pretty sure that they'll handle it.
Okay. Yeah, and George, just kind of talking about that respect thing that we were talking about a little earlier. To be fair to George here, he did say when the Raiders were stepping on that logo, you came on our show and you told me that you didn't give your stamp of approval for that. You thought it was disrespectful and it shouldn't have been done, and maybe the Raiders should apologize.
Right, and I stick with that. I don't change my mind on that. I mean, come on, like I said, it's your opponent who gives you the opportunity to be great, and when you start disrespecting your opponent, hey, you're going to get disrespected. Respect deserves respect. And you give your opponent respect. You go out, play hard-nosed football, and the best team wins. All of that extracurricular stuff, come on. That's Bush League.
Okay.
I don't care who
George,
it is.
talking about this secondary. I mean, since we've been talking to you for 10 years now, we've been talking secondary. They've got to get it right.
Has it been 10 years?
It has for us in that later secondary. It's been 10 years.
Time flies when you're having fun, huh?
Absolutely, my friend.
Yeah. Now, what was that question again? I got off track.
Just the Raiders secondary. For 10 years, we've been saying how they got to get that fixed. We thought maybe Jonathan Abram coming in there might be a help for safety. I think you're going to have to, if you don't want to be head coach, you're going to have to go play in that secondary and play safety for them.
I wish I could. I wish I could go back a few years, But yeah,
George,
if you don't have a strong secondary, you're gonna get bombed, and that's evident. And we got to definitely. There are a number of holes we have to fill, but the secondary is definitely important. If you can't score, you can't win, right?
Yeah, no, people talk about Max Crosby and Chandler Jones. They aren't producing much. Well, if your secondary's letting guys get open that quickly, they don't have a chance to get home. They're great edge rushers, Crosby and Chandler Jones both, but they can't get home if the secondary's giving up guys.
They couldn't stop the run. They couldn't stop the run. Yeah, we saw.
Well, the defense has some players, I think, that can help produce and make this a good defense. I think we got a good start there. Like you said, Crosby. You look at Perriman, if he comes back, he's a good tackle. You're talking about stopping the run. I think he's one of the best run stoppers in the league. There's some guys on that defense that can play. We definitely have to shore up the secondary.
George, the question that we all want to know, when will the Raiders catch the Chiefs? How long would that be?
I wish I knew, man. I wish I knew. We got to build. We got to build to that, and we got to build a team that can win in the AFC West. You got to win your division first. You got to be able to dominate your division. Then you go to the conference. But your division, you got 6 games a year that you play within the division. So you definitely have to build a team that can beat the teams in your division. So, that's what I think the Raiders will be looking at during this offseason. Who are the guys we can bring in here that can help win in the division?
George, that's why the secondary is so important, because you've got a Mahomes, you've got a Herbert. So.
Yeah, exactly. Well, look, look at the AFC West, man. You got San Diego. They got a cast of guys who can play. You got 2 teams out of the division that's in the playoffs. And if Denver improves, then you could have 3 teams. If the Raiders improve, it's wide open.
Hey, George, are you coming to Kansas City for the draft with Mark Davis and company?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
There's a reason for that, guys, and it's right here. George did come to visit here a few years ago. He had just an exquisite night out on the town with Noah and I. He'll never forget it. This was 6 or 7 years ago. And someone put in the comments, we could listen to George talk football all day. And we did. We picked George's brain that night at the Yard House. And George, if you remember right, you came to visit. We met up with you, and we got lost. We got lost out on the streets of Kansas City.
In your town.
In our town. We're from Kansas City, and Noah and I got lost in downtown Kansas City just trying to get here to this moment.
We had fun, though, once we hooked up.
Absolutely. We had fun.
Definitely.
Thank God you didn't take the wrong left of Hocus Pocus Club and Locust.
It was a little
difficult to get around in Kansas City. It's easy to take the wrong left.
It was like 30 degrees, which is for George, that is a no-go.
Oh,
he doesn't like the cold.
No. For sure. Without a doubt.
That's tough, man.
George, we certainly wish you a very restful offseason. Enjoy all the action coming up. It's been great having you on, and we look forward to next year, man. All the comments are just pouring in. People just enjoying hearing you here, and it's just been a pleasure to have you on this year again.
We got to get to Savannah. We got to get over to Savannah and hook up.
Yeah, definitely. All you got to do is call me.
Will do.
Got the number.
We've learned that over the last 10 years. All you got to do is call the man, and it happens. So thank you so much, George.
Yeah,
thank you. Take care, guys.
George,
all the best.
All righty.
Cool
well,
guy.
that was George Atkinson, Mr. Raider himself. And here on Arrowhead Allies, I mean, you never know what's going to happen. Anything's possible. And we get infiltrated from time to time by someone like that. And that guy has and deserves all of our respect. Talk about it, someone, and it was a great question you asked him, Shane, because talk about a guy that played on a defense and in an era where the hits were big. I just brought up Lynn Swann, and he wanted no part of that because he put Lynn Swann on the ground with a concussion more than once.
Right.
Surprised there wasn't CPR needed, honestly, on a few of those. And no joke.
The way they played back then, it was physical and it was hard and it was celebrated. If you go watch that hit on Jack Tatum against the Minnesota Vikings wide receiver in that game, it was huge. It knocked his helmet off, and Jack Tatum just stood over the top of him and just went like this. There was no taunting flag. There was no hit. Now the players they're stronger and faster. I'm not going to say they weren't fit. They're not physical because, they were then and they are now. It's just, we came to a time where you have to police a certain style of play, and it's for the betterment of these gentlemen's futures as they do get older, and it's great to have George Atkinson on here. And I appreciate you letting me be on here with him. He's a good guy, stand-up guy. He's a Raider legend. And for him to come in here and talk to us about what the Raiders are going through, as well as himself after his 76th birthday, was really cool. Thanks a lot, guys.
Great for bringing that up. Before we kind of get to some fun, because guys, the Chiefs don't have a game this week. We get to sit back and watch.
Love it.
It's going to be great. So we got to go back and look at maybe some of our predictions that did or didn't come true. Noah, we're going to start with you. What did you have? You had 12-5, decent record.
Sean McVay as coach of the year might be the biggest zonk on this whole thing.
You got 3 division winners though.
Yeah.
I did Chris Olave for offensive rookie of the year. I think he's going to fall just short. He had over 1,000 yards, but I think it might be Garrett Wilson when all's said and done.
Yeah.
Interesting. 12-5 it was. Let's pull up Shane's here, who had how can we forget the 12-4-1? But
yeah, I had Christian Watson as the rookie of the year. He came on late.
He did. He made a push for it.
Yeah. George Karlaftis, he came on late too. He's got 6
sacks
in the last 7 games. He didn't have the 16 that I predicted. Andy Reid, I don't think he's going to be coach of the year.
Deserves it though.
Yeah, he
probably
does.
going to be Sirianni.
Yeah, I could see it being Sirianni. And if Patrick Mahomes still has a chance for that MVP, I guess.
It's on.
If they try to say it's Jalen Hurts, I had my tie against the Buccaneers. That didn't happen. And I had the loss to Seattle and who else could I have the loss to? Maybe the Chargers. Thank God that didn't happen. I had us going on the road in the playoffs and beating the Buffalo Bills in the AFC Championship game. That's not going to happen because it's going to be at a neutral site. But, like I said, I always the last couple of years I predicted the Chiefs to go on the playoffs on the road to enhance Patrick Mahomes' legacy of winning road playoff games. But the Chiefs are so good and come near the end of every season. I'm just like every other Chiefs fan in Chiefs Kingdom. I start looking for ways to how we can get that number 1 seed. And Patrick Mahomes just keeps getting it. His 18, 19, 20, 21. His 5th season as a starter. He's at home field. He hadn't played a road playoff game yet.
I do that too, Shane.
And
17, 18, 19, 20, 21.
Yeah, I got to.
Brian, here you go.
Look at that Colts pick. Yikes.
Malik Willis.
2 yikes for the Colts and Malik Willis. The Aiden Hutchinson pick, it came on late because he's been playing very good. I thought, the Josh Allen MVP pick was because I thought that the media would just be in love with him no matter how he played. But I didn't anticipate him
all those
playing,
interceptions.
Yeah, playing this bad this late. So, of course,
I like that coach of the year pick. He's going to be up there. He's close.
Yeah, he could be. He still could get that. But, the Ravens didn't come through like I thought. And that Colts
That's
pick,
still a playoff team.
But they didn't win the division. But,
how many weeks is this without Lamar Jackson? 6, 7?
First off, my record, okay? Clearly, I bought in Denver and the Raiders and all these other teams being competitive because I didn't think the Chiefs were going to remember a month ago, I think it was after the Bengals game where I asked you guys, you didn't think the Chiefs were going to lose any more games? And like I thought we had at least 5 or 6 losses on deck. The Chiefs, this Chiefs team clearly outperformed my expectations of them in the regular season.
Yeah.
But I am embarrassed by that Colts pick and the Malik Willis pick. I'm sorry. My bad.
You're not alone. That's as we've seen. You were not alone. And Michael, you're just right on the same boat here.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be a much tougher division for the AFC West, but clearly the Chiefs are still that dominant team. The Colts, they let us all down.
Not me.
Who was that? Didn't Lance have
Nobody
them?
had the Jags.
Yeah, Lance Twidwell had them to the number 1 seed.
Yeah, he had them like 14-3. So like, they let everyone down. Aiden Hutchinson, he kind of came on. He came on late. The Texans were just terrible, so you can't give anybody a award there. So I see why. And I thought Buffalo was going to have the best record. That's why, I thought, they would have the coach of the year and possibly the MVP. But I was right about Patrick Mahomes because I knew he was going to come out listening to all of this Tyreek talk and talking mess that he was going to try to ball out. And he did exactly that. Thank you, Chiefs, for proving us wrong because 14-3 looks lovely when you look at the standings.
And it looks like I think I was right there with Brian with 11-6, and it was schedule driven. That schedule was so daunting. Mm-hmm. We looked at the way that it started through the first 6 weeks for sure. And George Pickens, my goodness, guys, that's a conversation for another day. But kind of made a push for it himself. That's with a revolving door at the quarterback with Pickett and Mitch Trubisky, and I think I had Derek Stingley there was my guy there for defensive.
That was Sauce Gardner. So
right. And then Sean McDermott. I don't know where he's going to fall in this Coach of the Year situation. He'd be right up there, of course. I just figured, and also that Josh Allen would kind of run away with it, just as a kind of. We talked about it kind of being as a narrative, and that's sort of what it was, and that's what the award is kind of based on. But Mahomes did that much to kind of distance himself. That's extremely impressive. And just thought maybe I have a theory about Super Bowl losers. And if you look in NFL history, Super Bowl losers are just usually, either they're struggle to make the playoffs. This year it was the Super Bowl winner that didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But there we go. And then we
thought my Coach of the Year was bad, but we did have Lance on the show and he did this, and mine was bad, but his coach got fired. His Coach of the Year got fired.
I think Chris Olave there.
Yeah.
Good record though, and he picked Patrick.
Very
for
good
MVP.
record.
Yeah. He wasn't off by too much.
No, Olave and Hutchinson are going to be right there for offensive and defensive rookie of the year. I don't think either one are going to win it, but they'll probably be top 3, 4, both. So
he just thought the Colts were going to go 14-3, which is crazy.
I never saw it with that outfit, but
go back to this from week 1.
That's a good memory.
Got the sign. Chiefs are good up. First quarter, no score. 10 minutes left in the first quarter, and they're proclaiming it. We should have all known. We should have all known everything was all right as this very shot went over this.
And in hindsight, like Shane, 14-3, Brian, kind of like you said, like this is an achievement. This ties, a franchise record for wins. Of course, that happened in 2020. Where there was 16 games. So, I don't know. It's kind of messing with my mind here, but that team would have been 15-1 actually had they needed to play in week 17. So this is a great accomplishment, guys. 14-3 is beyond any of our wildest expectations, I think. Right. We saw all of our records. I think Shane was the closest one out of us 5.
12-1, yeah.
I mean, I just didn't see a way to it, but it just goes to show. I mean, Michael, you hammer it home every week. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and there is something to be said for just the consistency of this organization, and it's become this gold standard. Hard to compare it to like an Alabama or a Georgia. They had, one Super Bowl here. It's different in the NFL. It's hard to do it, but the Chiefs are, just right there as the gold standard of the AFC, and they've still got more to prove.
Yeah, we got a question here about signing John Ross to a futures deal. Also, Freifogel from the wide receiver from Indiana to a futures deal. We'll see what John Ross, he went a pick before Patrick Mahomes in the 2017 draft, number 9 to the Bengals. Hasn't worked out for him. He's got crazy speed. Maybe he can be our new McColl as he moves on. But they also said, but to be honest, I would rather have DeAndre Hopkins from the Cardinals, and I already have an image made for this. So that question here. What do you guys think about Juju D-Hop letting go of Marquez Valdez-Scantling? Because
I'm all in, baby. I'm
Yeah,
gonna cut you off, Noah. I'm
getting
gonna
rid
cut
of
you off.
MVS, you can free up $9 million. The next 2 years, you take a $2 million cap hit each year in 2023, 2024, and then you can get. He will be turning 31 in June, but
don't care. God. Don't care.
Brett Veach, I think, might, but I don't either. I would love to have D-Hop here. I think we could get him relatively cheap. He's got 2 years, $34 million left on his deal. Get me D-Hop.
Yo, hey, DeAndre Hopkins could transform the offense into something that we've never seen, even with Tyreek Hill. I'm counting even if the Chiefs could find a way to keep Juju Smith-Schuster in this offense, because to me, in my opinion, that's the key. If you get Hopkins, he can stretch it out, go out wide, get those post routes as well. He's a supreme route runner. He has supreme hands, not the best speed, but his hands, though, Lord. And with that, though, I think that's why they'll kind of let Juju go probably, and MVS, because I think he's a hybrid of those two. I think he can run those MVS routes, but his hands are much better than MVS. But he doesn't have the speed that MVS has, and that's where he kind of is, where Juju is, because he can route somebody up within 10, 15 yards. Like DeAndre Hopkins is a dog, and I think that's the Chiefs wide receiver room. As much as I do love it, I do like it. There's no alpha male in that receiver room. There's no dog that go out and be like, hey, besides Kelsey, I'm going to go out and throw to you, and you're going to catch this, and we're going to get a first down. DeAndre Hopkins can be that for Patrick Mahomes.
Do you think we need, Shane, I'm going to go to you with this. Do you think we need two receivers, whether it's Juju and D-Hop and MVS, D-Hop and someone else, before you start getting to the Skies and Tonys and maybe a Justin Ross, if he can make the team? Do you think you need those two guys above Tony and Sky, keep them as kind of your third, fourth options?
I would love to expand on this with you guys in March, and we will. If Brett Veach wants to go after DeAndre Hopkins, he's got my support. But I'm thinking of the current players. They got to get, like I said earlier, they got to get Chris Jones extended and signed. And what are they going to do at left tackle? Did Orlando Brown Jr. has he really earned the pay that he wants? So there's a lot to expand and debate upon the current roster. But of course, you always want a talent like DeAndre Hopkins. So I'm not going to kick that. If Brett Veach can make it work with Chris Jones extended and with a left tackle that we trust protected Patrick Mahomes blindside with, I like it, because Kadarius Toney, if he stays healthy, we have him under contract for 3 more years. And we don't know what Justin Ross can be yet. John Ross is the perfect pick just to see what he does in training camp or this offseason, mini camp, training camp, and if he can stay healthy. Because John Ross, Kadarius Toney, McCole Hardman are those quick kind of shifty wide receivers that Andy Reid can run those gadget plays. So those are the kind of receivers that Andy Reid's always had. Yeah, he's had Macklin, but was he really a big dog like DeAndre Hopkins or what Justin Ross can be if he stays healthy in the NFL? Justin Ross is a big, tall, physical receiver that can high point the football, but so is DeAndre Hopkins. What kind of wide receiver is Andy Reid going to stay consistently in this offense with Patrick Mahomes because of the speed and the shiftiness that Kadarius Toney brings to this team? And if John Ross ends up doing something, they're quick, fast, they're quick, they run record 40s, they are just track sprint guys. But if Brett Veach can make it happen in March, and we can expand upon it on Arrowhead Allies on our March free agent freak out edition show,
got a title for it already.
Yeah,
free agent freak out.
Yeah. If you can go and get D-Hop, man, you have to at least try. If you can add him to your your wideout room with Sky Moore, Tony. Now you have John Ross, Justin Ross, and I'm pretty sure they're going to draft another receiver or bring somebody in that's pretty skilled. You have to try it, because he's a guy who's, first of all, he's going to be hungry, starving to win after playing with the Cardinals most of his career, and then the Texans as well. Like, he's going to be ready to win. So that's a guy. If I'm the Chiefs, you really have to look into if it makes sense. Like, you don't lose Chris Jones for DeAndre Hopkins. So you have to make sure that you can keep CJ first, and then after that, if you have the money and he's willing to maybe even take a pay cut, you have to look at DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, you mentioned D-Hop being hungry to win after coming from the Texans, going to the Cardinals. I think that's why J.J. Watt ultimately retired, going from the Texans to the Cardinals and all this losing. He said, I'm good here. We're fine. I've followed a career. I've got family, got money, not doing this winning thing, so I'm out. But we have a question here from Dakota Wolf. Was it a good pickup? What did we get John Ross for? I mean, for the speed. I think that's the only reason. I mean, Maverick said it to Goose. We feel the need for speed because we're going to lose McCall.
So why isn't he a Raider?
Most likely. So I think, well, yes, he could be a Raider, but the Chiefs are going that direction. We're going to lose McCall. We need some more speed. Maybe it can work out with John Ross. We'll bring him in. We'll kick the tires, see if this thing can go.
Yeah, no problem with that. I can't wait to see what this receiving core is going to look like. And like Shane said, we have a lot to get into. Hopefully this is not a focus for, in the immediate future that we're talking about playoff wins and Super Bowl appearances here. So Noah, we've been teasing it. We've been talking about it. We have our yearly Pro Football Entertainment Awards. We're doing it right here in Arrowhead Allies. We have some good ones this year. Just congratulations, first and foremost, to any and all winners. If there was any here, they would maybe walk on stage and slap us. Luckily, that will not happen.
We'll be mailing out probably come Thursday. Before the end of this week, we will be mailing out the awards to all the recipients. So congratulations
maybe start
again.
Shane sent us one. Maybe start with Shane's and
Shane, take it away with this one. We've got the Worst Cook Award from Shane.
Yes.
He's nominated Russell Wilson.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you look at that, and like I said, the NFL Worst Cook Award goes to Denver Broncos quarterback Russell Wilson after numerous attempts to get him on the hit TV show Hell's Kitchen, the main host, Gordon Ramsay, said, he can't cook. We can't let him cook. He sucks, and he should retire immediately.
Wow. That's
you see him there setting Invesco Field on fire.
Yes.
So I don't think he should be kicking. You were correct.
He got his helmet on backwards.
Yes.
Okay. Guys, our next award means a lot to me personally as a child of the 80s. This is our Revenge of the Nerds Award, and we're giving it to Mike McDaniel, who, had a 8-3 start, led the division actually for many weeks the NFL season. They did get in as a wild card, so we're going to give Mike McDaniel a Revenge of the Nerds Award, and congratulations for that, because it's a big one for me. And not to be outdone, Tua Tagovailoa, we're going to give you an award as well for the Miami Dolphins. That is our Weekend at Bernie's award, as the organization is not sure what to do with this unfortunate.
Be nice.
Oh, come on now.
What's not nice about it?
We'll be mailing that at the end of the week. Remember, you'll be getting this.
Okay, you guys, if you don't like that one, you're going to love this one. It's our What Would You Say You Do Here award from Office Space, and it goes to McCole Hardman, who has won this award now for the 4th straight year, his entire NFL career. What would you say you do here, McCole? Well, this year he's been hurt for 9 games, and despite being activated a week and a half ago, McCole Hardman, what would you say you do here? Well, it doesn't matter, because your career here ends in 1, 2, or the next 3 games. So excited to see how it all ends. But you did win this award. If nothing else in your career, McCole, you will not be missed. I despise you only as a player, not as a human. Great guy.
He was just at a local Liberty middle school today.
He did block us on Twitter. He did block us on Twitter a year ago. No hard feelings. And finally, my Dumb and Dumber award. You guys will get on board with this. It's Broncos GM George Patton and Coach Nathaniel Hackett. The Dumb and Dumber Award, you see Russell Wilson is our resident Billy and Forsey from Dumb and Dumber. Congratulations to all my winners. This is well thought out, and I think, gosh, you guys, congratulations.
Any quick comments through the first half of the awards, Brian?
Yeah, I just feel like playing some Future right now for Russell Wilson. You know what I'm saying? So March Madness.
March Madness. Disrespectful. But
Codeine crazy, baby.
Man, hey, did the Broncos they finished the season with a W, man. We gotta show them some love.
Yeah.
They
did.
The Chargers kept the starters in as long as they could to get hurt. Mike Williams played and got hurt and had to be helped to the locker room and helped on the bus afterwards. So there was a hard fought win for Denver. I'll give them that. They hurt Mike Williams.
Coach
Joey Bosa went out.
I just hope that future, Washington Commander McCole Hardman don't come out and slaughter us one day. And if he does, you two have hell to pay.
He's going to be a Carolina Panther.
He might be a Packer. He might go to the Packers.
He's still got 3 big games played with Kansas City.
He does. I agree.
I'm excited for it. He was on Twitch today saying that he is going to play. So speculation on that can just go by the wayside. He was on Twitch, and so that's got to be official, right?
Hey, before he went out, he started to pick it up. He was our guy in the red zone, and he was making some plays down the field. And then whatever happened, I hope we learn what happened to his ab area, because we're lost. We don't know what.
I don't know. I don't get it.
At first, I thought he had the bubble guts for a week or two, and now it's clearly something more.
Well, he did find out that his girlfriend is pregnant. It's not all that uncommon to just completely
maybe sympathy pains in the stomach area.
Right.
I don't know.
Okay,
Noah, let's go. Let's finish out our awards, and this is just.
Everyone knows the film 12 Angry Men with Henry Fonda, but we've got 30 Angry Women, and we've got this goes to Deshaun Watson. The Houston Texans settled with 30 women in the Deshaun Watson case and settlement. We'll be sending this out soon. So.
Wow, I've never seen a joke land quite like this one in 10 years. In 10 years. Noah, you better get to the next slide quick.
Yeah, Brian hates me, so we've also seen
I ain't touching that one. No, you good. You my dog. I ain't touching that one, no.
Yeah, I can't say anything.
You don't have to touch it. We will. There's been enough touching in that situation. So we are moving on to the movie Rudy, and now we've got Gino. They wrote me off. I ain't right back, though.
Oh,
Gino.
That's a hell of a punchline right there.
No, terrible Seahawk uniforms.
Those are not their best. Those are
terrible.
I hate them.
Brian will not be going to see this movie, but we've also got Aaron Rodgers, back-to-back MVP in 2020, 2021. Would he do it again? No, because there was a failure to launch for Aaron Rodgers. He just couldn't get off the ground. Even as they started winning late in the season, it was all the run game and the defense coming alive. It was not Aaron. It was not that passing game. They got a little bit with Christian Watson going, but Aaron Rodgers, failure to launch. Congratulations.
Yay.
Big win.
Yeah. Have a good career somewhere else, A-Rod.
Or just with your new girlfriend, Hope of the Earth, or whatever her name is.
Praying we don't see him in a Titans uniform.
Yeah.
Yes, I will say that.
I don't think he's going to Tennessee.
George doesn't want to see him on the Raiders, so that can't happen. They got to run everything by George, and he doesn't want an old quarterback. So now we've got the LA Rams. I mean, that was my coach of the year, Sean McVay. Unfortunately, it was the silence of the Rams because nobody heard a peep from them all year long. All they did was lose. They had that great comeback from behind victory with Baker Mayfield late in the season, but they fall on their face, lose at the end of the year to the Seahawks as the Seahawks get into the playoffs. And we've just got down in the pit, Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp. They dealt with a lot of injuries. Aaron Donald was injured late in the season, and just we don't know what's going to happen with Sean McVay. Could retire, could walk off into the sunset with maybe go on TV.
They're crashing and burning hard.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I know it's one thing to put all your chips in and win a Super Bowl, and they did that. And winning the Super Bowl is definitely a big deal. But golly, we haven't even seen the worst of it yet because we don't know what they're going to do with Aaron Donald. Mm-hmm. We don't know what they're going to do with Ramsey. And in true LA fashion, they went up fast, crashed just as fast.
Yep.
Yeah, it's looking tough out here, man. The Ram fans, they don't know what to do. They might become Charger fans. You know how LA does.
So that's very LA of them.
Yeah, nice. Very LA. But yeah, it's like, especially if like McVay told all of his coaches to go and look for, take interviews. So if he leaves, it's like you're really starting with nothing without draft picks. It's just going to be tough. I don't want to go too crazy on the Rams because I do live in LA and these Ram fans are crazy. So I wouldn't want anybody to check this out.
I know where you live, Michael.
I'm looking for me, so I have to be nice. But yeah, the Rams are in big trouble.
Yeah, they are. And we're going to move on to our next award here. It is another aging quarterback. We've already done Aaron Rodgers. And now for the love of the game, nobody can dispute that Kevin Costner had a love for the game in that movie, for love of the game, and nobody can dispute that Tom Brady has a love of the game because he destroyed his family for love of the game. They have separated, the family is split apart, all because he could not stay retired. He had to come back for love of the game, Tom Brady.
Future 49er Tom Brady. He is not hanging it up after this year.
He's gonna be in Vegas, man. Brock Purdy's gonna have that job. But yeah, Brady, like, what more do you have to prove? Like, you have the records, you have the MVPs, you have the Super Bowls. I don't think anybody going to catch him with that. So I don't know why he's still playing. Clearly, it's the love of the game, but you got this money waiting for you to be on TV. Go and take that TV money and relax before you take a big hit, and we're all going to have this sad, story about you taking a huge hit and having to retire. Let it go, Tom.
Well, you're right. These next two, no,
We've got
I'm
a
not
double
sure.
winner. This is the same recipient of this award. Again, mailing those out at the end of the week. So please bear with us. And the United States Postal Service, they're a little, it's a little touch and go whether you're going to receive your package. That's what I've dealt with. That's what you might deal with. So hopefully you get these awards. If not, we can send out another one. This is the Uncle Frank Look What You Did, You Little Jerk Award. And of course, that's got to go to Sky Moore, as he loves.
This tickles me so much because first off, Home Alone is one of my favorite movies. Number one. Number two this is exactly how I was treated as a kid. So I already know the feeling that you have for Sky Moore. I know it all too familiar.
Sky Moore, please stay on stage as you are the recipient of another award. The Did I Do That award? The Steve Urkel Did I Do That award? Yes, you did, Sky. You actually did. Multiple times, by the way.
That should have been Dave Taub's award because I get it, but it's only so many situations.
You could also just go ahead and field the punt successfully after the first or second time. But Sky Moore, the only time in history, Noah, a double winner. I am very impressed.
Shout out to Sky.
You should be honored by.
Shout out to Sky Moore, the next McCole Hardman that could have been George Pickens, just like McCole could have been DK Metcalf. I am here for it. Congratulations, Sky. You're the next McCole Hardman. Woohoo!
Congratulations to all the recipients.
Yeah.
I had the chance.
So you're gonna tell me that when you saw Sky Moore on offense, you was like, oh, he's not a ball player?
I see some things, but if you look at the stats and stats alone, I mean, McCole Hardman had at least a legitimate rookie season of 600 plus yards. Sky Moore ending it with just 250 yards. He's not getting the targets. He's not getting on the field. It just wasn't a good rookie season.
That's unfair because when McCole came, they needed what he had to offer.
They did not. They kept Tyreek Hill. They still had Sammy Watkins, and they had Travis Kelce. They didn't need anything.
But they said
they did not.
Who are you going to put on the field? Demarcus Robinson over him?
He looked like Jerry Rice against the Raiders in the first half in 2019.
I was at that game, by the way.
In Oakland?
That was a very
great game. Yes,
Sky Moore just had so many vets in front of him. Like, he really didn't have a role.
Come on. No. If
you can't get on the field over Justin Watson dropping every single football for the last 6 weeks until that 66-yarder.
But I don't think they play the same position though. Yeah, I think they have different schemes and I don't know. I'm not trying to make up excuses.
I get you. I'm waiting to see. There's still more to see here.
He's going to make you two eat your words next year. I'm calling it right now.
He's going to do better than he did this year for sure. To make us eat our words, he's going to have to be better than George Pickens, and that I do not see.
But George is the number one, so he gets a lot of the targets. Where here you got
they've got DeAndre Johnson. They said George Pickens is really good. Bye, Chase Claypool. We didn't say bye to anybody because Sky Moore is just tearing it up.
We heard the same thing about McCole Hardman, who said it himself. He tweeted out last year, "You guys expect me to be good when Tyreek Hill's here and Travis Kelce's here?"
We got rid of Tyreek, and where you at, McCole?
This is the same thing all over again. We've seen this movie before, Shaggy Shane. Hold on, Shaggy. We've seen this movie before.
I think McCole Hardman is going to have to. He's playing for big money the next 3 games, and Sky Moore is going to be mixed in with McCole Hardman and with Kadarius Toney.
Yeah,
you like you like what the possibility of what confusion it does to opposing defensive coordinators when you're talking about Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney, and McCole Hardman, when and if they will be on the field at the same time. So I did not have high expectations for Sky Moore.
Yeah, me neither.
Just because I felt that we just traded Tyreek Hill 1 month before the draft. So I think putting any pressure on a second round draft pick to come in and be that replacement was unfair to anyone. But
except George Pickens, who we could have had.
I don't think they were looking for that type of physical receiver.
They don't like it. They clearly don't like it.
They never have. They could have had DK Metcalf, but they took McCole Hardman. They could have had George Pickens, but they took Sky Moore.
Bummer.
I mean, like I said, they want these wide receivers that are quick, shifty, can run the 40 time and blazing speed. That's just that is the type of receivers that they look for this offense.
You're right.
I wanted DK Metcalf and big, tall, physical receivers that can go up in high point of football when it's thrown down the field. But they want these guys that can sweep out of the backfield and do numerous zigzags and sweeps. And, that's just how they've always had it, going back to Albert Wilson. So that's why Andy Reid wants to run in this offense.
You're right, Shane. You're 100% right. That's why they took those players, and it's unfortunate because they took the worst player.
That's
the type of receiver they want.
Well, we're 14-3. We're the number 1 seed, so I ain't complaining.
Yeah,
facts. Agree there. I'm with
bit.
that.
No, you are no.
Well, wow, guys. Don't remember when I've had more fun in the last several weeks. It's just been wonderful here on Arrowhead Allies as we get to sit back. This is what I like this week. Super Wildcard Weekend is not made for the Kansas City Chiefs because with the exception of last year, which the Chiefs had to play in Super Wildcard Weekend because of the change in rules, which brings in a 7 seed and makes a 2 seed play in the first round, which I think is ridiculous, but now I'm glad it's happening to the Bills and not us. So let them deal with that. And we'll see how the rest of it plays out. It's good to be a bystander and not have to worry about your game until next week. This is a good thing for the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. Are we going to predict?
Are we making predictions on who?
Yeah. I mean, are we going
to?
Okay.
I can throw it up here. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Just throw them out. Throw them all out.
In the NFC, I like San Francisco, the Vikings, and the Buccaneers this weekend. In the AFC, I like Jacksonville, Baltimore, and I'm going. If Tua plays, I'm picking Miami.
Wow.
I want it so bad, Shane.
If Tua plays, I just feel it. I feel it. Buffalo was beatable last weekend. They gave up 2 kickoff returns and they only won by 12. New England kept their offense at bay. And if you just go back 4 weeks ago to that Saturday night game, Miami and Buffalo, Miami had an 8-point lead with 12 minutes left in the game. And Josh Allen was starting to drive where he just ran the entire drive. But on the first drive, he ran for 3 yards and fumbled. And his offensive guard landed on it just in front of a Miami Dolphins defensive end. And if that Dolphins defensive end landed on it, the Dolphins in the snow probably would have went down and could have at least got a field goal to go up 11 and ran 4 or 5 more minutes off that clock. I know my Buffalo's got a lot going for them, but like I said, if Tua is healthy, that is my upset of the week. What you say, Brian?
For the NFC, I got Niners, Giants, and Buccaneers. So that means next week we'll have Giants at Eagles and Buccaneers at San Francisco. And then I'll have Frisco and Philly with the 49ers going to the bowl. AFC side, Buffalo, Cincinnati are winning. And then the Jacksonville Jaguars are coming in the Arrowhead next week. Got the Chiefs winning that. And I got the Bengals knocking off the Bills. AFC championship game rematch from last year. Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl to knock the Niners off once again.
Love it.
Ooh, and with a score of 44-21. I can't wait.
Sure.
Gosh, I'm Niners. I like the Chargers, man. My man Larry Roundtree, former Mizzou running back, starting to show out for the Los Angeles Chargers. And we saw Chase Daniel, former Mizzou great quarterback, get a touchdown pass to Keenan Allen. The Chargers are coming to Arrowhead, guys, and it will be a war. You remember World War III? there in WCW or the Royal Rumble in WWF, it's going to be that Chiefs Chargers. I like the Bills. I like the Minnesota Vikings there. Can't stand the giant Brian Daboll, Daniel Jones, the boring uniforms, the boring organization, witness protection program. Get the Giants out of my face. Vikings win, Bengals. And I got the Cowboys. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers won that game in week 1 over the Cowboys. Now, Dak Prescott, guys, is really playing poorly. That's going to be something to watch here. But I like the Cowboys to go on the road and get that win. And that's just how I see it. Maybe we'll watch half of these games. It'll be great. No, come on. Brian's right. I'll watch them all.
Thank you. You have to watch it, man. You're a football fan. But I'm going Niners on Saturday. Take care of business. I got Jacksonville.
Wow.
I think they're hot right now.
Woo, I hope so. I want it.
And they have that tape from earlier in the season on, how to beat the Chargers. But let's see, let's see how healthy Mike Williams is going to be. I think if he's ready to go and he's balling, that really helps them. But I'm not sure what he's going to look like with the groin and back injury. I have Buffalo taking care of business. If Tua plays, it will be closer than what everyone's expecting, but it's still Buffalo. I have Minnesota taking care of business at home. I don't trust Daniel Jones at all. The Bengals, they're going to take care of business. And one of the other toss-up game other than the Chargers-Jacksonville game for me is the Cowboys-Tampa Bay. Earlier in the day, I picked Tampa Bay to win, and I'm going to stick with Tom Brady because he always has the refs on his side. So they're going to find a way to get Tampa Bay to the second round.
Thomas Edward Patrick Brady.
Yes, you can't go wrong with that, I guess.
Noah, tell me what I'm betting on. Do it.
I like sticking with the NFC side. I like the Niners, Vikings over those boring Giants. I'm with you there, Clint. And Tom Brady in the Bucs as well. And I do like the Niners coming out of that. I want to say the Eagles. I'd like a Kelsey versus Kelsey Super Bowl, but I think the Eagles, just Jalen Hurts being out those couple weeks, has kind of thrown them off rhythm, and their defense is starting to give up some more stuff. I think it's going to be Chiefs Niners when it comes out of it, but I'll go back a little bit and go through the AFC side. I do like the Jags. Andre Cisco versus Juju revenge matchup. When Andre Cisco tried to take his head off, I think Juju and the Chiefs are going to get some more revenge. They won that game last time. They'll win it again. And then if Lamar plays, I like the Ravens. I don't think he's going to, so I'm going to take the Bengals. And even if Tua plays, I think the Bills are on a little bit of a train of destiny here. And I don't think it's going to carry them all the way, but I do think it'll carry them past the Dolphins with them at home. And then I think the Bengals do beat the Bills. It's AFC Championship game. Chiefs at home against the Bengals. They get their revenge. Chiefs, Niners, Chiefs win, just like Brian said.
Jeez. So I'm the only human here that picks the Los Angeles Chargers to win this playoff game.
Yeah,
Brandon Staley's going to go for it on fourth down on his own one and not get it.
Because you don't remember 30 years ago. Shane, I know you remember 30 years ago. Swept the 92 Chiefs.
Lost 17-0 in the wild card round.
Swept the Chargers in the regular season, and we got smoked in the playoffs by the Chargers. It's hard to beat a team 3 times in the season. Yep. I don't want to see them.
Well,
Dakota going with upsets here. Jags, Seahawks, Minnesota, Baltimore, Miami. Other than Minnesota, that's probably the favorite there at home against the Giants. But the others, Baltimore, Miami, Seattle. Wow.
They have to go across country to go against this Jacksonville team they're ready to go. They're ready to try to make some noise in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They're playing for the future with Trevor Lawrence there. So I think that they're going to be fired up. I think they beat the Chargers and then the Chiefs smoked them.
I want that to be the matchup. I do like that. Like Brian said, that third matchup against the Chargers is just a little dangerous for me, and we'll see how it all shakes out, guys.
Before we go, Clint, I want to give a shout out to 3 guys who are very important to me. They're former Chiefs. They're college football Hall of Famers. We got Jeremy Maclin, who's Derek Johnson,
MIZ,
my guy, my favorite Madden linebacker of all time, and then Eric Berry, college football Hall of Famers, baby. They did it. They rocked the Chiefs jersey well, and they dominated in college.
Great to bring that up, Michael. That's 3 great additions. Last year, Gary Pinkel, former Mizzou coach, goes in. Now Jeremy Maclin, who, by the way, Jeremy Maclin, stat for you guys, if you're ever on Jeopardy, Jeremy Maclin was at the Alex Smith's only 1,000-yard receiver in his career.
Wow.
Damn.
Not tight end. We, of course, Travis Kelce.
Was it AJ Jenkins?
Oh, well, maybe John Baldwin. We'll have to look that up, buddy.
Not even Tyreek. That's crazy.
Not even Donnie Avery.
Donnie.
No,
and not. I mean, maybe Vernon Davis as a tight end in San Francisco, but no receivers there either. Wow. Not a receiver in his career, not Chiefs' career. In his career, Jeremy Maclin.
No Brandon Lloyd.
Nope. I liked Brandon Lloyd.
Michael Crabtree didn't get 1,000. Whoa. Tough.
Jeremy Maclin is it. Age 34, guy, one of my favorite receivers, one of my favorite players in Mizzou history. So thanks, Michael, for bringing that up. That is tremendous honor for them. And guys, thank you so much for being a part of Arrowhead Allies. Enjoy the games this weekend. You can do it with a smile on your face and a beverage in your hand because you don't got to worry about anything except merely existing and enjoying it all. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next week.
See you next Tuesday.
Cheers. Cheers.